Hmm. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Late Night with JapJap, part 2 of this evening's programming. And we specifically call it programming so that we could subconsciously brainwash you into a more grabbler way of lifestyle without you understanding our vile intentions. Bajo Bear, welcome back. I'm glad you enjoyed that, Bajo Bear. Waiting on Handy Adam Bear and everyone else to jump back on. So I literally opened this an hour ago. But I War Bear, welcome. Yes, Bajo Bear, everyone fucking loved your contribution, our little stream together. But I opened this like over an hour ago. And I'm just so like dehydrated and out of it. And WA Bear, welcome, and just like exhausted from today. It's like, do I want to drink a White Claw? Do I have enough hydration in my system, or will it give me a hangover tomorrow? Because I have things to do. So I've just kind of been sitting staring at it. I'm like, meh, it's kind of getting warm now. I'm probably just gonna pour it down the drain. NWA Bear, welcome. Wait for some more people to come on in, and then show you everyone what I did today. Never played Fallout either, so I do not know what the Brotherhood of Steel is. I would assume it's some group of men that use weapons to enforce their desires in video game form? I don't know. NWB, right now we're just waiting for Handy Adam to jump back on because he wanted to go on the live stream. Nice. Trainer Bear, welcome. I've always enjoyed bourbon. Waiting on Handy Adam Bear to jump on. Yeah, I think I kind of fucked that one up. Whatever. NWA Bear, any fun adventures to regale us with? Trainer Bear, how was your day? We've already heard from Bajo Bear, but if you want to add some more to the conversation, feel free. Who else do we have in here? And then we've got War Bear. How are you doing today, my friend? I also think I've got allergies right now, so I'm sniffling all the time. I swear it's not cocaine. Alright, so it looks like Handy Adam's a little bit late on jumping back in. So if anyone else wants to jump in, feel free. And NWA Bear, I'll show you what I did today. I made a great many signs because I'm volunteering with the Trump campaign, and I did a bunch of paperwork and stuff. Nice. I'll have to check that out, Trainer Bear. The Sheba gravy was pretty epic, for sure. Oh, that's a bummer. What kind of industry are you in? And what is your definition of hot as fuck? Remember, I live in the desert of Arizona, so if you say anything under 100, I will mock you. But seriously, what kind of industry are you in? And obviously, defective parts always sucks. That one. Not bad. It was, what was it today? Now I'm curious. Arizona. No, don't go there. No, wrong click. Stop it. Cool. Yeah, it only got to like 104, 105 today here. It wasn't that bad. You repair oxygen concentrators? That sounds fascinating. What is it like a mechanical thing? Oh, yeah, yep, you win. I remember those kinds of situations. Bell Reaver, welcome, welcome. I remember being in 29 Palms for training, and we'd have, it'd be like 115, 120, sometimes like over 120, and we'd have to have like long sleeve shirts, call them blouses, and then we have our little undershirt, green skivvy, and then we've got our big trousers and our boots and shit, and then on top of that we're wearing like 100 pounds of gear in a backpack, and so it's like, oh my god, I'm dying. But yeah, 105 in a warehouse with no AC will definitely have a very similar effect. Be glad you don't have to sleep in that warehouse, bro. That's a bitch. Trying to fall asleep when it's 105 outside and you're just like, fuck me. Ascension Bear, welcome, welcome. Courage Bear, welcome back. Bike thieves with attitude. Oh my goodness. I'm writing that down because that sounds hilarious. Stand by. Well, see, the question about bike thieves with attitude, kid. Do we make all the songs about bikes? Or do we take original NWA songs and turn them into songs about bikes? Or do we just never mention bikes, but bike-adjacent behavior that alludes to a potential bike-type situation, but never quite mentioning the B word? Bike. Whoa, that sounds fascinating. Alright guys, Bajo Bear is now 1 million mics in. So, he may not be able to actually speak, but I can assume that we will understand his communication by facial gestures and interpretive dance.
What the fuck? Anyway. Anyway.
Pastor Anderson, go. All right.
Let me start off. I'm still stuck on, I don't know how many minutes had passed, maybe like 9. Let's go with the Gematria confirmed. Or Illuminati, whatever. I'm talking about Brotherhood of Steel still, right? This is in my brain. So, the Brotherhood of Steel, they have an airship, you know that, right?
No, I know nothing about the Brotherhood of Steel. Other than you just told me they were in a Fallout game.
Okay, well, I'm going off of one game, Fallout 4. They have an airship. They go around getting technologies and memory and all that. I'm just going to be on for like 30 seconds, and that's it. Did we already talk about this? Oh, you know what? Handy Adams.
Welcome.
Handy Adams on. Steve Anderson. Which one's Steve Anderson?
Steve Anderson is this this guy that claims to be a pastor who lives, or his building he calls a church is about 4 or 5 miles away from like me right now, and I used to own a house like less than a mile away from like where his little preaching thing goes on, and I heard about him. And I was like, all right, he's fiery. Like, sounds cool. King James Version. Interesting. And so I went to his church for a couple of months. And his preaching style is almost 100% hate. And it wouldn't be the worst because, yeah, like, there's a lot of wicked people in this generation. But if you're spouting off that volume of hatred and you claim to be able to read the Bible in fluent Greek and you've never actually displayed that skill when called out in public, and your understanding of biblical theology is completely off in a variety of ways, then you probably shouldn't be preaching the word of God. And then, like, in addition to that, like, one of the things that really irked me was every single Sunday they're like, here's exactly how many people we have. Let us brag about all the good we have done this week. Like, it was a whole section of the sermon. I was like, dude, come the fuck on. And so I remember one sermon, he was bragging. So first he was talking shit about another pastor and then made up some story about the pastor. Turns out it was a lie. And then after he lied about the other pastor to make the other pastor look like shit, then he bragged to the whole congregation, like, yeah, me and my wife sleep in separate beds, and yeah, we get together all the time. Look how many children we have. It's like, bro, that's not something you should be bragging about. Like, if you and your wife have chosen to sleep in separate beds for whatever reason, that's between you and your wife in the bedroom. Don't bring that shit to your pulpit.
I sleep next to my wife so she can get plowed by another man and I can watch and look over.
See, there's not enough room for 3 in the bed, so she's got to sleep in a different bed.
They call it twin size for a reason, okay? And I have to make sure it's not a triplet size bed so I can look on my side of the bed and look over. All right, Handy Adam, get on.
Yeah, Handy Adam Bear, everyone wants you on. Bajo Bear, I'm kicking you off. Oh, he left before I could kick him off. Damn it. Touche, Bajo Bear. Handy Adam Bear. Let me push the buttons. Oh, I pushed the wrong button. Wait, did I push the right button? Oh, there's the right button. Yeah, Ascension Bear, like, he's, or no, Handy Adam. No, wait.
Well,
Bell
wow.
Reaver, he's also a pastor in real life. And Ascension, yeah, he's a fucking weirdo. Handy Adam Bear, welcome.
Well, hello. I've lost the ability to go live, and so I can only rely on the grace of my JapJap.
Wait, how have you lost the ability to go live?
I don't know. It's just like it's not there on my app anymore, and I'm like, okay. So
Weird.
check this out.
Is that artwork from the street?
This is my bus, baby.
Oh, nice! It's so dark I can... Oh, then now I see it's a bus.
Yeah, I'll have to take pictures tomorrow. It's all metallic. I don't know if you can see, like, it's this old metallic paint. I'll show it to you right here. I'm kind of going crazy. There's my truck. Little get crazy, but look at all this cool stuff.
Nice! You're just going hamsies with the paint, bro. I like it.
Dude, it is awesome. It is like, it's already firmed up. It's this acrylic. Look at this paint. Gold metallic Acme brand. I mean, what more do you want in life? Look at this. It's metallic paint from back in the day. So my friend Matthew, who you met before, this is all just like, this is basically what he has piles and piles of at the at that property. And you can just, like, I was like, I'll paint my bus with it. So my wife saw this and was like, what are you doing?
Dude, I'm excited to see the full tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm like thinking, well, let's give it a good first coat at least. We can always cover it up, you know. So let's see how it works. I've got this old school, like, HVLP sprayer. So acetone to cut the paint. But I'm actually liking painting a lot. I'm like, oh, this could be fun. Airbrush technique, you know? I
Yeah, for
love
like the
art.
longest time, I thought painting was really gay, but once I started to get into it myself, I was like, whoa, this is actually a lot of fun.
What was gay?
Painting, I used to think was gay, and then I started doing it, and I was like, whoa, this is actually really cool. Loading screen. Oh, you're back.
Yeah, after I got out of the army, I had this huge revelation. Like, I was like, what? I'd just been waiting to get out of the army. I had a countdown. I had an ETS countdown on my wall.
Who
That
didn't,
way,
bro?
everybody could see, like, I was counting the days down. So, the recruiter didn't. One day the recruiter comes and sits next to me, and he's like, "What's up, man?" And I was like, "What's up?" And he's like, "Want to re-enlist?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Okay." It was so funny, man. But after I got out of the army, I was like, I can do anything I want. Like, you remember, like, the things of your youth. Like, what do you want to do when you grow up? Anything you want. And I was like, I want to make art and music and save the world. Yes, I was raving with ecstasy at the time. So I'm sure there's no connection to that.
Oh
But
no, no connection whatsoever.
I'm like, plur, peace, love, unity, respect. Yeah.
I swear, when I take acid, it's only for artistic um motivation.
Yes, and if you take acid when you're studying, you might as well take acid when you take the test.
Exactly. It's like the whole thing where if you
It's so
study
funny.
chewing bubblegum, then chew bubblegum while taking a test. Same
Right.
thing's got to apply with acid.
Same thing, officer. That's why I had to have all those tabs of acid in my pocket.
You never know when you need a hit, bruh.
My goodness. I was really thinking about the whole LSD psyop, you know. We know we have a context for kind of understanding, and we're like, oh, cool, let's do hallucinogens or whatever. Or like maybe even like let's party, or like let me go deeper or something like that, let me seek for something. But can you imagine just going to a concert and you're like a total normie? You're just like, I'll go to this concert because some reason they're having a concert here. I don't know why. And secretly the CIA is like, and then they're like, well, there's this weird concert. Well, let's just go there. And then they're like, what are those girls doing dancing over there? And they're all paid by the CIA, like to go dance, and like a bunch of weird girls like dancing. And then all of a sudden they're like, what is that frog doing coming out of my friend's face? Like, like, wait a second.
Or could you imagine like an actual like normie concert? It's just like the see instead of like doing this whole elaborate plan, they just had one agent like at the bar dropping tabs in every drink.
Right, exactly. It's like, did you get your free drink? Did you get your free drink? So easy. Jerry Garcia's in the background, like, all I have to do is sit here and play my guitar. They're a bunch of sheeple. Oh, I went down a lot of fun paths with Laurel Canyon scene. You know the Laurel Canyon.
hmm
That is some fun stuff to go down. I think because it just gives you an idea of like, oh yeah, it's all evil. Like, it is sort of a big conspiracy. Like, ever since they had the ability to do mass media, they're like, ooh, you know. And
Yo.
when you look back into the past, I remember there was an expose on this movie. I never saw it or anything, but there was an expose on one of the first movies that promoted divorce as being a good thing. And
Ooh.
it was so obviously subversive and everything like that now when we look at it. But when I look at these 1973 newspapers, let's see if I can find one here. One somewhere around here. They're filled with feminism, hardcore feminism,
Oh yeah.
and cuckery. It's 1973, and cuckery of
Yup.
the men. The ads for the men's clothing, they all look like they're gay, and they all have their hand in like a really gay position. Like, it's like obvious. They're so feminized. And then every other thing is like, the woman, blah blah blah, and then of course it's like 60,000 sign up for new moon trip with Pan Am. It's like you're reading these newspapers, you're like, what? It's so dumb, and you're like, oh, so now I can see it's dumb back then. And then it's like, all right, well, now what am I being fooled with right now?
Yo.
So it is a cool thing because we are going through awakening when we're like, okay, I'm willing to endure the social shame of being a anti-glober. I wouldn't say flat earther necessarily, but we're willing to go through that social shame, and that means all bets are off. We're like, okay, everything's on the table. Like, I love God, and he speaks to me personally, and that's all I really know. But there's a lot of gravy out there, and a lot of good people in the same position as me that, like, want to crush and, like, have fun. The whole Owen Benjamin phenomenon bringing us together like this, which is really cool. We all like to do the same stuff that Owen does. Like, we like to have a good time, have fun, encourage people. We like people to act out and act crazy and be themselves and, like, do fun stuff. It's like you're at a party with your friends. You're like, all right, let's show off for me, buddy, and let's raise a barn together or whatever. Help me freaking move. It's like, let's do it together and let's dance and sing a song while we do it. At least that's what the kids. The kids, I'm like,
well, like,
sing.
Tartarian Productions.
Yes.
He's over in California.
Oh yeah.
Me and him are talking, and I'm probably going to go visit him for a couple of days in the next, like, week or two.
Cool. Yeah, I was on that stream when you were talking about it. I was like, sweet. I didn't know how close you were, but he's over there in the desert of California, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Gravy Davy, welcome,
he
brother.
has a fantastic place.
Yeah, did you know his cars?
Yes. I was picturing, like, a bunch of bears, like, each one in one of his cars, like, going into, like, the city of LA to go, like, fill it up with, like, refugees and come out to our Beartarian strongholds,
All people with logos, calling those with logos. If you want to live, get in the car.
Right. No, I was like, man, that guy, he's an amazing guy. He was like, you go down to Florida and, like, maybe I can get you a job with my producer friend doing some movies or something like that. And he's like, do I have to get the COVID test 8 inches, not the nasal, like
The full 8 inches.
Gotta get way back, way deep. But seriously, I was worried about my children getting caught up in, like, Netflix, because I'm living in Atlanta and they're doing a lot of, it's real, like, the Hollywood has moved here basically, until all of this shut everything down pretty much and exposed a lot of things. And so it's like, oh no, we have to go, like, the unauthorized TV route. And I'm like, that potential is awesome,
That's the move, man. Like, I had something less drastic but similar happen to me today, where I was, like, checking up on one of the voter registration tables at some gym, and there was, like, 2 older ladies, like, both married, both with kids, super based, not super based, but relatively based, and they had been doing, like, all this voter registration, and me and, like, the dude that, like, hired me or whatever, we were just talking to him, just, like, shooting the shit, and all 3 of them were like, did you see how Fox covered, like, the presidential debate? Like, look how hard, like, the only one I like is Tucker Carlson and the 5, or, like, this and that. I was like, guys, you don't have to watch Fox. And I just, like, offhand listed, like, 5 or 6. See you soon, NWA Bear. We might miss you, or we might not. I just listed off, like, 4, 5, 6 different like, YouTube channels that provide great news, and, like, their minds were, like, I saw their eyes get wider and their minds blow. They're like, what? I don't have to watch TV? Like, they just never considered it.
Oh my gosh. That's going to be amazing. I mean, yeah, I couldn't imagine if I was thinking I just had to weed through Fox News and CNN. Oh, the horror.
Right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're pretty like even you with your boxes of support and stuff. Like you're pretty. I think you're pretty. I guess it would be black pilled to politics or red pilled maybe.
Oh yeah.
Black pilled
I'd
and
say
red
I
pilled.
was I'm stead pilled. I'm aware
Yeah,
of politics, but I'm stead pilled.
but you're
It's
having
just
fun
I
with
don't
it.
have a home study.
You're having fun with it, and it looks like fun.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Like I remember at the table events, they would be like it was hilarious every time, or not every time, but whenever like our table was here and the Democrat table was like within 100 yards of us,
Yeah.
I would make a point of like getting my big flag with my face paint and like running around their table and like taunting them and stuff. It was just so much fun.
Well, and it's the crazy thing is like it is such a where there'll be people who are Republican or whatever, but they're so in the dark about anything like really functionally real, functionally real about like the earth or the truth. Like they're kind of acting in that the creation of America and stuff like that, and all their hope is in that, you know.
Well, it's like the more lies that you believe in and subscribe to, the less you can see in the world. Like today, I got a phone call from some Democratic volunteer,
Uh-huh.
and dude, I shit you not, the phone number, like so the area code here is 602. It was 602-666, and then something else.
it's, it's like
Like,
it's like either they're
like,
trying really hard or they're not trying at all, and
well, I think it's just a synchronicity because me and this boss dude, we were talking about it earlier on in the day. Lane Runner, welcome, welcome, and like it got to the point in the conversation where I was like, dude, it's basically those that worship Satan versus those that worship God, and then like a sprinkling of people in between. And then
I
later that day, Democrat 666 calls me. I was like, whoa.
I was talking to my sister-in-law yesterday, and I was remarking, I was like, it's amazing that the divide has become so obvious to just be like, hey, we don't kill our young. Like, yeah, that's the divide. Like, we don't kill and eat and rape our young. Huh. So we're going to be over here. You guys stay there. And if you come any closer, we're going to fucking chop your head off.
Like you guys can go kill your young in the cities. We're gonna leave and
Yeah.
start homesteading and
And
be
we might
productive.
actually just kill you and take your children, too. Maybe. I got angry at a guy at Home Depot the other day, and I'm still kind of reflecting on it because I was like, I could go this route. I'm like, I could go this route and just go for it, you know? And
What happened?
there was just a guy, he had a beard and a mask. Is that the gayest thing you ever seen? Is just like someone having a big, fluffy beard and then a mask. And I'm just like, dude, you had so much going for you. I'm sure I would have thought you were based, you know, and then you're like, wait a second. It's just freaking facial hair. They're wearing a freaking mask. But this guy had this precious little child with the tiniest little mask on this cute little face. And I was just like, and I tried to talk to him at first, and he's just like, dude, and I was like, this is ridiculous. And, you know, I was like, dude, and I was like, he just like took a picture of me and was like talking some shit, and I was just like, okay, stop watching porn, stop watching, you got to cut it out, stop watching the porn. You know, it's like my parting. If I just have to do a one-liner, it's just like okay, stop whacking off. It's gross. You know,
Well, see,
like,
like the thing is, in those kinds of like situations, if you're the one that's initiating, then it's a completely different engagement than if they engage you. And it like the two different types of like engagement, like who engages the other, completely like different ways of rhetorically addressing their concerns.
yeah. It's not. I don't think it's. I wouldn't do it. I'm not advising anybody to do that.
No.
Because I wanted to punch him. Like, and that's the thing is like I'm going in there and I'm like, I want to punch all these men. It was a Sunday. I'm like, I want to punch all these fathers of these little children in the nose. I mean, if that would help, it wouldn't though. And so I'm like, it wouldn't even help. I'd just get in trouble.
Exactly.
They might even beat me up. Who knows? I'm not much of a fighter. I just have to go on sheer intimidation. But yeah.
Use your Rogans to your advantage.
I haven't gotten into too many actual fights where it's like I could get punched in the face, and then like keep fighting through it. I got punched in the face a few times though, but it was always like without knowing it was coming. And then once you get punched in the face and you don't know what's coming and it hits you right in the nose and everything waters up, you're like, what the heck is going on? It's like, it's I don't know. So it's like,
What are these little bitch tears coming out of my eyes? What is this nonsense?
yeah,
Do you have
you're
a
like, I
magic
don't
stick?
even know you, man. Like, what is going on? What
I
was that?
don't even know you. Why do you punch me in the face? I'm not crying.
Rub it
It's
on a bit,
allergies, I swear.
Oh, sorry. I'm just having one of those like remembering middle school. Like, oh. Yeah, it's funny because I went through a real insecure phase until ninth grade, and then I found some friends, and I
Mm-hmm.
was still insecure, kind of with my friends, but they were cool, so it really brought me up. Like it brought me up to a level like because they were nice and good people, and we had a great time, and we kind of had our own like little like group of people, and you can really bring people up if they're willing to like go through like you know
The
being
growing
brought
pain.
being brought up. It's the special boy attitude of like, hey, look at me, I'm special. So it's like, no, you actually have to like go through things with people, find your pecking order, do things that bond you. It's it's sort of natural, but I think we've created a special boy because people are special on the internet, right? They're special. They've got their own special page. They've got their own MySpace page. They designed it themselves, right?
Well, it's like the farther you get away from the natural world, the more likely it is that you have the potential to become a gamma just because of your unnatural environment.
Yeah, exactly. And what a weird thing is it just happened recently. It hasn't been that long since we've had this social media thing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so we're seeing it play out, in how are the boomers reacting to it, how are we acting to it. You're what, in your 30s?
3-0 exactly.
30, right? So which means you have 3 years until your crucifixion if you follow Christ. Really literally follow him. But you don't have to do that actually. It's more powerful to live dead. You know what I mean?
See, I've thought about this in depth, and if I were to die tomorrow or tonight or what may have you, like, it would not be a bummer for me because, oh darn, I go to heaven.
Right.
And so, like, yeah, obviously don't do something stupid and purposely get myself killed or, like, off myself. That's retarded.
Technically, you'd be in Abraham's bosom, which is paradise. I think.
Touche.
I don't know exactly. I think that stuff is really fun to look at, though. Afterworld, the underworld, place of the dead, all the different translations for the word hell. I, I think it's fascinating because
I completely concur.
there's some real gravy there, like the way Jesus would say Sheol, or he'd say the other one it wasn't Hades, was it? No.
In some translation, he does say Hades.
And then there was a specific place of like a junkyard outside of the city where you would throw like, and that meant like no one cares where you're buried, buddy. Like that's not a good place. Like you're just gonna go rot in the fire pit.
Because, like, historically, that's where they would throw all the unclean things.
Right. Right. Exactly. Huh. Where do we throw our unclean things?
Well, it depends on the person.
Yeah.
Some people inhale their unclean things.
Well, unclean is a matter of opinion, I would say. What is it? Jordan Peterson says, "What do you mean by God? What do you mean?" What's funny is
NWA Bear says laundry hamper.
yeah. Courage Bear, I had to say amen. He says, "Yeah, I want to beat the perverts who mass the children, but I refrain." Yes, I think we all refrain, but we all want that. It looks like a 70 bush on your face. I think he's talking about the
Okay.
guy. I think he's talking about the guy wearing a mask with a
Either way, don't care.
thing on it. Oh God, it's so gross. It's like panties. They're wearing dirty panties, and the ones that are custom made, I'm like,
The word.
you guys are gross. I'm like, you guys are like in for the long haul. You're like, I'm gonna be fashionable. Like, it's gonna match my outfit. I'm like, you fucking gross people. Stop it. You're so gross. It's
James
awful.
Excel, welcome.
James Excel, my man. I hope to hang out with James pretty soon. He's a crusher. He's only 30 minutes away from me or so.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You guys should organize a bear chill.
We haven't actually had a big bear meetup down here, but there are quite a few. Some really good crushers out here, of course.
NWA Bear, that is pretty fucking hilarious.
Did you hear that we got the notice my landlord wants to sell this place? So our beautiful little place that we've been here, I think it's going to be time that we moved out of here soon. Maybe by early spring.
Ooh. Any plans on where you're going to go yet?
Montana, would be nice. But I think we may travel to Montana. There's a thing called Youth with a Mission. Ever heard of it?
I have not.
So it's a missions organization loosely connected to like IHOP and stuff like that, but not really. But some of this, back in the day, like some of the same players, Mike Bickle and Lauren Cunningham is the guy who did YWAM. But it's a place where it's a mission school, Youth with a Mission. You go to a discipleship training school, and then you go apply what you learned on a mission somewhere, right? And that's when I first learned about human trafficking. Actually, that was about 12, 13 years ago, and I was like, what the, it was awful. But there is a YWAM base.
1 second. It might have just frozen because someone was calling me. Am I back?
Well, there's a YWAM base, which they're all loosely connected to each other too. It really depends on like the leadership or whatever. Like they're not over.
Radio check.
What?
Radio check.
I can hear you.
What's going on here?
Can you hear me, my friend?
Radio check.
I can hear you.
All right, so I can barely hear you. I assume that's because when I call or when I received a phone call,
it switches,
and then I hit ignore or decline or whatever. Then now my phone. Okay. I just connected my Bluetooth. Radio check.
Yeah. Yes.
Now I can.
Hello. Cool. I'd like one of you guys to just be like get a phone call and be like, somebody's calling me. Don't they know I'm streaming? And just have a total spiral and be like, I'm the special streamer boy. They should be on my stream. I'll let you have a chance to talk to me if I don't block you. No. But anyway, so there's a YWAM base where they do these schools and their focus in Montana is arts and entertainment, theater, everything. They have a big theater. They have a music studio. They have all that type of stuff. And our girls are now old enough that they can do something called a summer of service, which is like a mini kind of mission trip or something. And so I'm like, Montana? What's right next to Montana on the map? Oh, look at that, Idaho. I'm like,
right.
yeah, I'm like thinking. So I'm hoping that we'll take off in this bus, you know, hopefully pulling our horse behind, because we just have to have our circus. Like it's like a traveling circus, you know?
That sounds brilliant. Your newly painted bus.
Yeah, I don't think it'll stay this way. I think this may be the first coat because my family, I'm just like a dork artist. They're like real artists. So it's sort of the demonstration of how it's going to work. I just had to paint it because I'm just like, oh, like it's just so big and yellow. I'm like, we need to. And then my brother, Shade Steel on Instagram, who's the one-armed like sword maker. You know about him?
Shade Steel?
Yeah, SCHADE is.
Hold on, let me get on my computer Instagram.
Yeah,
Because I am
Shade
adding him
Steel.
right
You
now.
go
That sounds
back a
brilliant.
few videos of his, and he has an awesome fire sword that he made, and he's wielding with his one arm. But he just got a trailer, which he's going to turn into a big welding trailer to do art, and he's going to take his show on the road. And I was like, dude, that's what I want to do. So I was like, homeschools, that's where it's at. Let's go to different homeschool communities, put on plays. I could help build stages or amphitheaters or whatever. We can all have fun, you know. People aren't putting money into school anymore, but they still want to do fun stuff for kids, and we could just sort of show how we operate things as a homeschool parents, which is you just freaking get out of their way. You like just give them stuff. It's like you feed stuff into their area, and they grab it and they go, you know. And
Can you say
they're
again the spelling of Shade Steel?
SCHADE. Shada. Dasi Shada. Yes, I am German, yeah. Dasi
Tracking.
Sibu.
Sound followed.
I'm German and French, which is really like anti like World War One. You know?
Well, it's like part of your family literally fought a very genocidal war against the other part of your family.
And then they switched. You know, like the French, I was just listening to the latest documentary release from Unauthorized, and it was that guy talking about the 3 stages of warfare, and it was
Ooh.
really fascinating to listen to. So everybody check that out. But the stage of warfare, well, we was just talking about how the French went into the first part of World War One, and they were like, "We will ride to the," you know, I'm doing an English accent, of course, but you know, we will ride into the front, and our bravery will carry us through. And then like 300,000 dead in like 4 days or something like that. It was like massacre, and they're like, "Oh shit,
Our mustache will protect
we
us.
need to
What is this?
change our tactics. We can't just walk into machine gun fire." It's the first time it was really
Right?
used, besides like the Spanish-American War, I think, that any sort of stuff like that would have been used. So nobody had a context for it. And they came up with like stage 2 warfare at that point, and then it sort of branched off, and they were like, everyone was like, well, the French have their army, you know, they can do it. And so but it was really fascinating. And then he also was reflecting on like there's places, I think he said like Verdun in Europe, that
1.1 million dead in one battle? Yeah.
yeah, and like today, like you go there and it's like a bunch of craters. It's like grass has grown over them, but it's the landscape is just completely craters. For you know, like what are you gonna do? So I listened to a hardcore history podcast. Have you ever heard that one? Dan
Dan Carlin?
Carlin.
Yeah, I love his stuff.
Yeah, so I listened to the one about World War One and everything like that, and I was like, this sounds like a freaking gravel. You know, he gives the official story, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't know.
Well,
It seems like they're like he spends like an hour saying, well, this is how they say it started, you know, and then he goes into the whole thing with his cool
yeah.
voice. This is how
Tartarian,
this
welcome.
day started, you know. He's awesome, but that was really amazing to hear the story of like so like you're sitting there, you put your head up and it gets shot, and your buddy is over there bleeding to death, drowning in mud, and it actually like slowly drowns, and you just have to wait and like listen to your buddy cry. I'm like, oh my lord,
And then after he's dead, there's no guarantee his body's going to be removed for the next week.
Right, and yeah, so there's just rot and disease and just like people shitting and pissing, like it's just, and I'm like, for what? For what? And then you see the grab with the hands. Funding both sides
More
of the
wars,
war.
more profit.
Like the Bush family funded both sides of the war or whatever.
Yup.
And I'm like, but George Bush said he's Christian. I remember my dad said that to me. I'm like, Dad, what? He said he's a Christian. I'm like, a couple of years later, I think he really fooled us. I'm like, you think so? Dad, you ever gonna learn? And then my dad's fully like awesome now because he's the one who shared that guy Nathan, not Thompson. That's the Flat Earth guy. Nathan Reynolds, who I shared a little bit. I shared a little snippet about him where he talks about like the amazing things about the Bible. And he's an ex-Illuminati assassin, basically. So
Dope.
Nathan Reynolds, and his book Snatched from the Flames is awesome. And he reads the audio book on his channel, but he's like talking about making armor, making weapons. He's like, we got to be practical guys, and he's like, we got to, be ready for what's going to come upon the earth. And so he's like, how like you can make, like paper is a very good shield, like layers of paper is a very good shield, very good armor for certain things or whatever. And I really am coming back to like, yeah, I think swords are actually going to be very, very useful because guns, like they're very valuable to you, like use those things. You may not have it, but like if anybody came into my house, like my kids would all grab swords right now. They would like get all the swords, right? So
Well, in close combat like scenarios, a bladed weapon is much more lethal than a firearm in most cases.
yeah, and they can throw arrows too, like whip them, and they stick. We've been practicing. Oh, this is something you need to. Well, you may do it already, but throwing knives straight technique.
Ooh, I haven't tried throwing them straight.
Adam
Interesting.
Celadine, Celedin on YouTube. Adam Celadin was on the Slingshot channel. Jorgen, what's his name? Jorgen Spravenanen. Have you the guy, the bald guy, the Slingshot channel on YouTube?
Yeah.
He's like, let me show you its features. He's making
He
these.
makes the coolest shit.
Oh, he's awesome. And of course he's like, how do I get around my laws? I'm gonna make freaking rubber band weapons that will put down an elephant, right?
Right.
I'm gonna make a cannonball launcher, And but anyway, Adam Celadine went on there, and it was a throw knives straight technique, and you find the balance, and you balance it like right on your first finger, and then you grab it at that balance point, and then you just practice flicking it and releasing at a certain point, and you can throw from any distance. Like the better you are, the further back you can go. But it actually turns throwing knives into a real, defensive weapon in a way where you could do it from any distance, and it's gonna fly straight. So
Interesting. It just so happens. It's hard to do one-handed.
just wait till morning.
Just so happens I have a throwing device. And it also just so happens that I have a large cardboard box from making the signs today. So, let us see if I can put into practice what you've just described. Alright, so step 1, find the balance point. Step 2, grab it by said balance point. Step 3, fail at throwing. So I see where All right, yeah, so too much. It's interesting. It's a very different technique. There we go. Still wasn't perfect. Much better. Boom! Dude, that's genius. I'm gonna have to practice that. Oh! Candiana Bear's gone. Bummer. Where'd he go? Oh, his connection must have gone out. That's unfortunate. But now I know another way of throwing knives. Woohoo! All right, guys, we've got about 9 minutes left. Bajo Bear, we love you too. Oh no, you said I love you, Gus. I don't know who Gus is, Bajo Bear. You're gonna have to go to a different stream to find your lover named Gus. Thank you, Courage Bear. It took me 4 tries to get a decent throw, but with practice, I can hone that particular skill. So, Bajo Bear, tell us about this new love of Gus that you have. Have you been dating long? What's up, War Bear? How you doing, brother man? All right, what else we got for the last 8 minutes of this? What can I tell you for 8 minutes? I can... Ooh, I can show you these. So, they're the pictorial history of World War II. And turns out, when I was on vacation with my mom when I was like yay tall in Washington State, so like the northern side of the country, I'm in Arizona, at a garage sale, she found these books that are very, very old. Not very, very old. Now I've got books that are over 100 years old. But they're from 1948. And I never knew that they were that old and that cool. But then just last time I hung out with my mom, she told me the whole story about how after she bought these books, she literally had to go to other garage sales to purchase extra like luggage and stuff so that she could haul all these books back, because there's 10 of them, like pretty big books, and it's got like all these like original pictures or original wartime footage, and then the official story behind the footage. Bajo Bear calling people fucking beaners. You fucking beaner. What else do I got for you guys? Right now, I'm just kind of impromptuing. I guess I could read you a little bit from one of my old books. Is that something you guys want for the last couple of minutes? Or do you guys have another direction you want to go for the last like closing section? I am very well aware of this, Bajo Bear, and you are thoroughly entertaining in your current inebriated state, kind sir. Bro! Fucking plastered, man! I jest because that's how I was several streams ago, to the point where Trainer Bear was literally embarrassed for me. I was so inebriated. Not my best stream, I don't think. To be quite fair, I don't really remember much of it. Like, when I got home today, after like all the volunteering and stuff, I was just so dehydrated and tired, because so all those like signs and everything, like there's 500 of them, and then I've got another 500 to do. all of those signs, like it's on all like the like stakes and everything, is well over 400 pounds, and I had to carry them downstairs and stuff. And I was like, oh, this is a great idea. On my way back up the stairs, I should sprint, so then I could get a good workout in. By the end of me just like carrying signs from the office to my car, I was like drenched in sweat, like almost dizzy. I just sit down, like chug water, and then after like 20 minutes of just like cooling down, I was like, all right, I'm good to go. And I walked back outside so I could just leave, and ended up tossing guts, and then I just drank some more water and drove home. And now my body is just like ridiculously just like, I'm so tired. Like 2 hours ago, I opened this mango White Claw, my favorite flavor. I have zero motivation to engage with alcohol at all right now. It's just like, if I drink a drop, will I get a hangover? Am I that dehydrated? I don't know. Because after I got back, then I like did a whole flurry of like I literally turned making signs into a cardio activity. Like my heart rate got up because I was making them so quickly, like, and so then I got all sweaty and like fucking crazy again. And then like my pee-pee came out like bright yellow. I was like, uh-oh, that's not a good sign. So I chugged more water. Speaking of, like I've got shit to do tomorrow, so I'm trying to avoid being hungover. Oh, so this little thing right here, it's supposed to be one of these, but it fell off my bookshelf one night, and I woke up the next morning. Turns out my cat had chewed off the other earbud, so now I have a Bluetooth with one earbud. And I don't want to buy another one because these things are fucking expensive. All right, guys. Any last thoughts? Got just under 2 minutes left. Speaking of the little headphone killer, where'd he go? Oh, there he is. Maximus! Good boy, buddy. I don't know why he likes that green chair so much. Baho Bear, you know what, fuck it. We've got 2 minutes left. Let's see what you got.
.2 minutes. I just gotta say, I can't wait to join the Airships, all right? JapJap, I want you to be my first-hand man, all right? I want you to be like, hey, JapJap, sign this off for me. We got to make
All right, sir.
JapJap, did you fucking make sure that that fucking propeller has some safety wire on that bitch?
Sir, what's safety wire?
Ah, shit! All right.
Later,
JapJap,
Courage.
I love you so much. You, Nick, especially Bear Razor, Bell Reaver. You know what? I'm gonna add Warbeard 83 in there. Dude, we're gonna be we're the fucking bad company. Bad company bears.
Is that another video game?
Yes. All right. Me, you, Warbeard, Bell Reaver, Nick, Wolf, and Bear Razor. We're the bad company. You got that?
Aye, aye, sir.
Aye, aye. Good night, brothers.
Good night, Warbear. Good night, everybody. Oh, and right now, Nick gets online. Come the fuck on, man.
Call me Nick. We're gonna
All right,
burn pornography. We're gonna make live streaming, maybe. Fuck it, I don't know. We're gonna have a good time.
All right. Nick, FYI, Bajo Bear is 66 beers in.
I'm an Irishman. I know how to hold my liquor. I can remember everything. I swear to God. I can remember Who the fuck is Baho Bear? Who is Baho Bear? I swear to God, that
3,